So I want to say good morning, everybody. Happy Aloha Friday. And welcome to PSG of Mercer County. And welcome to our very first video conference, our very first video meeting. Video is something that we've kind of held off for a long time because we like having people coming to the meeting. Unfortunately, we are not able to right now because of our situation, of course, with coronavirus. Good. And but want to just welcome everyone to our first meeting. This is a special event. We're glad that we're able to continue providing service for all of us. I'll introduce Adrian in a moment. I'm so glad she's able to participate and our program is conducive to us. Also want to say happy spring. Spring arrived actually yesterday, late at night, about 11:50 at night. So today is the first full day of spring. Spring usually arrives, yay, so I see Adrian's happy. Spring is a nice time of season for a nice season for a lot of us. I enjoy it. It's my birthday season, so it means extra special to me as well. And so we get to celebrate our first day of spring with our very first video conference. We are planning to continue this as a series, at least as long as we are not able to meet in person at the Princeton Public Library. The library has announced that they're following the CDC guidelines, and they will remain, or keeping programs closed, even if they open soon, they will keep programs closed so there aren't large gatherings at least until May 10th. So that's their current thinking right now. And we will continue to host as long as we get people that are interested and want to participate. We have recently updated our event calendar because a couple of the presenters that we had scheduled, their programs are not very conducive for video. So we are working to get fill-ins, and we've got most of the dates filled in right now. So our calendar should be fairly up to date, but it's possible over the next several weeks or so, a presenter and a topic just may change a little bit. As a reminder, we do have our LinkedIn group. It's a great way to stay in touch with each other. Our LinkedIn group is called PSG of Mercer County. We have almost 1,500 members in our LinkedIn group, which means that no matter how many connections, first-degree connections you have right now, certainly what you can do is join our LinkedIn group, and your connections will now extend to up to that 1,500. So what's nice about that, our connections and our members in our LinkedIn group are all people who've been through our program before, at least been to one in-person meeting. And that's kind of important because, you know, we know there are a lot of people on LinkedIn that aren't very good at responding and replying, but people in job search, they get it. And if you reach out for a little bit of assistance, there's a good chance to someone in our LinkedIn group, there's a good chance they are going to respond. So please join our LinkedIn group. I will be checking our computer that we normally have people sign in the very first visit that they come. We use that computer to make sure that you are indeed a member when you request, but then we accept you right away. And as a reminder, we do have our website, psgofmercercounty.org. It's a wonderful resource, and I'm not just saying it because I helped our team put that together, but it's over 120 pages of job seeker support resources. One of the pages that we have is called Professional Development. In the Professional Development page, there's a link for e-learning. We have now 22 e-learning links in that page. So if you're looking for new classes and learning opportunity to learn online, you can check our professional development page. It's a menu item right at the top of the screen. Check the professional development. In there's a link for e-learning, and there'll be 22. We just added a new one, 22 links there. Now, not all the classes and not all the sites are free. Most of them are, or some of them are having free classes and paid classes, but there's a tremendous resource. Every once in a while, you'll just want to know where you can go and find good e-learning. Here's your one-stop shopping for that. So that's available as well. So just before I formally introduce Adrian, what I want to do is just kind of go over very quickly some of the ground rules. And it's really kind of simple. In just a moment, I am going to turn the screen over and control over to Adrian, and she'll share her screen. She has a slide deck. The slide deck is available on our website right now, which is psgofmercercounty.org. On the right side of the screen on our website is a link for meeting presentation documents. So just click the meeting presentation documents link. All of our presenters that have shared their information are all going to be there. So her slide deck is there. She's going to provide some handouts to us a little bit later. I will post those as well. And also to let you know, we are in the process of recording this session. So once I figure out how to get that onto the website as well, I will do that. So that may be another day or so before we get the video session. So if there was something of interest you wanted to hear again, I'm hopeful to get that on very shortly. I do ask you, keep your audio on mute. You have a button on the lower left side of your Zoom screen to turn your audio on or off. Hopefully we've locked that. But it's just to make sure that there's any background noise at your home or wherever you are right now. It won't go through and all of us will hear it. Could be your cell phone that rings or a dog that's barking, kids, whatever it is. So keep your audio on mute so we don't disturb each other. Also, for right now, we're keeping video on the video off. Adrian and I, we have our video on, but for all of you as participants, some of you probably are very relieved. You don't want people to see you in your jammies or whatever, and that's fine. But we're trying to have a little bit less distraction. Hopefully by now you have seen that there's a chat option. You can hover over the main Zoom screen. At the bottom is a chat button. And so at the chat button will open up a chat window on the right side. So let's use that for Q&A. Adrian will decide if she wants to stop her program to answer a question in chat, or at the very least, she'll go through the questions and answer as many of them as she can at the end. If there are any that I see as well, after she has wrapped up, she'll turn control back over to me. Only one of us can be host at a time. She'll turn control over to me, and then I'll try and get those questions, and of course have the wrap-up information that I have as well. So those are kind of the ground rules. I think this should be fun. I'm excited. I'm glad we can offer this to you. So appreciative of all the people that are participating today. So welcome, Adrian. There are over 60 so far. So you are on the spotlight in just a moment. So I am just very pleased this morning to welcome our presenter, Adrian Turner. Now, Adrian is an award-winning leadership coach. She's a speaker, professional development trainer, and founder of a nationally certified minority-owned business enterprise. Her book, Fearless, Inspired, Transformed, F-I-T, Fearless, Inspired, Transformed, Fit for Success, has been accepted into the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. in social science and reached number 38 on the Amazon bestseller list under work-life balance. Fit for Success is based on Adrian's syndicated podcast, which provides strategies for personal and professional development. Adrian is an adjunct professor at Alvernia University, senior fellow with the Social Enterprise Institute USA, a trainer for chambers of commerce throughout Pennsylvania, and a Mrs. Berks County, Pennsylvania, America 2019, where she advocated for career advancement for women. Adrian's work has been featured in the Business Weekly, Forbes, Girl Boss, and other notable media. Adrian holds her BS in economics, a master's degree in management, and an MBA from Pennsylvania State University. Her mission is to inspire and empower others to be their best selves and achieve more in life. To learn more about Adrian, you can visit her website, www.coachadrian.com, coachadrian.com, or you can connect with her online via LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as Coach Adrian. So PSG of Mercer County is just pleased to virtually welcome Coach Adrian, Adrian Turner. So give me one moment to turn control over, make you the host, and you want to change? Yes, and good. So I think Adrian, yes, it's all yours.
So I'm going to share
your desktop.
Screen. I better say desktop to make sure I catch everything. And then I'm going to go to PowerPoint. There we go. And let's see if we are ready to rock and roll. There we go. All right. So good morning, everyone. And thank you for joining today. I know this is a little different for all of us. We are in a different time right now. So having the opportunity to be able to share information with you about personal branding in this way is unique for me as well. But I'm glad you joined, because my purpose today is to provide you with information so that when we are able to get back to a new normal, you will be able to attain even greater opportunities, because you will have already started to practice some of the things that we'll talk about today. And you probably heard other presentations on personal branding. What I am going to share will be practical tips that you can implement right away and get started on branding yourself specifically to get the opportunities that you are looking for. So we're going to start with just the basics, the definition of personal branding. And it is the process of discovering your key personal and professional assets and then communicating them passionately to your audience. That's the key. You have to understand what your assets are and then share that message, because your brand really is your message about who you are to the world. So people are branding themselves for many reasons, but what we find is that branding is literally the intersection of how you see yourself and how other people see you. So I often say it's what people think about you when they think about you. What are people saying when they're introducing you to others? Or what do you want people to say when they are introducing you to others? The way that you create your brand will help you to put that message out into the world. So individuals are branding because we need to stand out in the crowd, especially when we're looking for opportunities. You know, everyone can look the same on paper. Everyone can have the same type of experience, but how do we stand out? We do that with branding. Of course, when you are successful with branding, you can earn more money because more opportunities are available to you, and people brand because they want to develop a specific reputation that's going to help them to attract clients and business associates and partners and customers. So branding is key when you talk about how people will receive you, how they will engage with you, and what they think about you. And if we think about it in terms of why personal branding, I read an article that discussed Tesla and its CEO, Elon Musk. Elon Musk has somewhere near 2 to 3 million Twitter followers, where Tesla has many less than that. The Michael Dell has more followers than Dell Electronics. People want to get to know individuals and not the companies that they represent. They want to do business with, as we know, and connect with those they know, like, and trust. So branding is key for you to develop that message. So I shared this screen because when we look at different logos, there is something that those providers, these companies are sharing with us. There's a message that they want us to have. So when we see the logo for Facebook, we think community, we think connection. When we see the logo for McDonald's, we have some perception. We think, you know, fast, cheap. When we see the Walmart logo, we think low price. So there is some adjectives, some thoughts that we have when we see these logos. It's the same with you. When people meet you, you're your logo. So what are you communicating and how do you do it? And we'll talk about that. And one of the key ways that we can be successful, and it is to be able to differentiate ourselves. So when we're live, I talk about how we see the name brand Tylenol for $7.99, and then we see the store brand pain reliever for $5.29. So if I were to ask how many people would choose the name brand, several of you might raise your hand or leave a comment. If I were to ask how many of you are want to select the pain reliever, Some, maybe half, will raise your hand. So we choose these products, even though they potentially can do the same thing. We choose them for different reasons. Maybe it's the price differentiated. Maybe it's what our thoughts are, what we've heard, the reputation of the company. Maybe it's because of who we're giving it to, children. So whatever the reason is that makes us select one product over another, employers are doing the same thing when they're looking at your resume beside another resume. All the skills look the same, and we all can look the same on paper, but what is going to make us different? And that is where we have to find our sweet spot. So I tell people, you have to position yourself. Now, for some of you who may not know, I spent 23 years in corporate America working for a very large pharmaceutical organization. And one of the things that I did learn while a corporate employee was the importance of managing and maintaining my reputation. So it was important for me to build specific relationships. It was important for me to be able to demonstrate how I provide value to others. So when we say position ourselves, think about that. So when I decided that I wanted to start a career as an entrepreneur, well, I literally had to rebrand myself, because before I had a specific, people had specific images of me based on my corporate experience. Now I needed them to understand who I am as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. And I went from having zero connections in the business world, zero in terms of the small business world, entrepreneur, growing to having thousands of connections and networking opportunities because of how I branded myself. So you'll see, you own your brand. And if you don't think that you have a brand, well, you do. But it's our responsibility to manage it and to define it. Glenn Lopez, who is a very, very wonderful executive coach, says that individuals who define and live their brand naturally exude executive presence. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with what executive presence is, it is someone who has the ability to create an experience that makes other people want to get to know them. Other people want to be around them, to connect with them. So when someone has executive presence, it is a way that they can bring influence because of who they are, how they carry themselves, again, and how they deliver value to others. And what I like is that it's not always all about your technical skills. As I am coaching individuals for their professional careers or their business careers, what I am most profoundly sharing is the fact that research from Harvard scientists have proven that our financial success is determined by our personality and our ability to communicate, negotiate, and lead. That's what will help us to be successful. Only 15% is our technical expertise. So again, going back to thinking about how people look on paper, well, we can't tell someone's personality from a piece of paper. And it might be difficult for us to understand how they might lead or negotiate in that way. And that's why branding is about who you are as a whole person, not just what you do, but how you do it, who you serve, and basically who you are as a whole person. So when I ask individuals, tell me your top 3 strengths, tell me what makes you unique. Well, sometimes I get the scared look, right? Because we often know more about ourselves than we often know more about other people than we know about ourselves. But I found this article in Success Magazine in 2019, and this is Nuhan Gupta. And she said that her secret weapon, one of her key strengths, one of her key characteristics, a part of her personality that enables opportunities for her is that she has the ability to pull people in with charisma and passion for something. And then she shares her energy in a way that transfers to them. Now, when I am working with clients, not only does the research share this, but we have to be able to communicate how we are emotionally intelligent, how we're plugged in. And by demonstrating our charisma and our passion and our energy, that is one of the ways that we can demonstrate that. Here's another. This is Lauren Land. She says that her secret sauce, her top weapon, how she communicates, the brand that she wants people to understand about her is that she remembers the tiniest of details. So she didn't say project management skills. They don't mention their ability to be a program expert. They talk about who they are in this unique thing that they can do. So sometimes when we think about what's unique, that can sometimes seem a little scary for individuals, because unique is like, I got to be doing something that nobody else does, which is impossible. But what is meant by that is the way that you deliver is unique, because you can have charisma and passion, and because of who you are and the way that you communicate that, that's what makes it unique. If we go back to what Steve Jobs said, he said, you don't have to do it better, you just have to do it differently. So that's what you should keep in mind. And I'm always telling individuals, be sure that you are finding a way to communicate those soft skills, because that's what's going to differentiate you from other people. So how to find out what our strengths are. I'm trying to minimize this screen so I can see us all. Oh, I forget that my computer is not a touch screen. We have to understand what our strengths are. So here is my book. I bought this Strengths Finder from, I got it right off of Amazon. And with this, you can take a test. That book costs $20, Strengths Finder, $20. You get this code, you get a code, and then you go on and you take a test to figure out what your strengths are. So the reason why it's important to understand your strengths is because you need to know what you're really good at. So that helps with you getting your message out. So when I took the strengths test, here's what I found. Okay, I'm going to get my screen to go again. Oh, looks like my screen is a little frozen. There we go. So this is the results that I got. Achiever, learner, intellection, belief, and possibility. And it took me maybe about 40 minutes to do this, but through it, I learned what my strengths are, which I had some idea, but it really helps to reinforce. And then they give you some ways to communicate your strengths as well. So some of my strengths, they say, are the executing thing. So it helps me to get things done. Some of my strengths are relationship building. And some of my strengths also help me with strategic thinking. So not only understanding what your strengths are, but how to use them so that you can be able to demonstrate that to others. And determining your brand means that you actually have to do an analysis. So understanding, we all are very familiar with a SWOT analysis. What are your strengths? Who are you? Why should others want to know you? What's special about you? That's that uniqueness. What are your weaknesses? What can other people do better than you? Or what can you improve on? Or what do people perceive as your weakness? Because those are opportunities as well. And we want to be able to receive feedback from individuals so that we can improve our brand. So for individuals who tell me that they don't know what their brand is, just ask the people around you. Or look at your old work evaluations. What are some of the things that people have shared with you about what they enjoy about you and how they interact with you? When we talk about the weaknesses, I say there's two reasons why that's important. One, you want to know what to stay away from. Like, okay, that's not an area where I think I can be impactful. But it also can give you information on where you need to grow or learn so that you can be the brand and demand that you desire. And I often share as well, it's really good to have an understanding of yourself because, and get other people involved, because something that you may be perceiving about yourself might be different than others are seeing it. So for example, I worked with an organization down in Philadelphia a few years ago, and there was a young woman who expressed how, she's a caseworker, and she expressed how every time someone new came into the organization that they were assigned to her and she would train them, and these individuals will be very successful in their roles and they would get promoted on. At one point, someone became her boss and she had trained, and she was very frustrated. And I shared with her, could it be that your strength is in training, that you are really good at developing leaders? So that's a definite way to see that differently. So that's why it's important to get other people involved as well. Then what opportunities are available to you? What relationships and connections do you have? Because this is going to inform on how you execute, how you carry out your plan. And then what's blocking you? What impacts do your weaknesses have on you as the, so it's necessary to have an assessment of who you are, what you're capable of, what resources might be available to you, and maybe what changes you need to take. So the SWOT analysis is key. So you may come up with, I've got great charisma and passion that helps me to connect with other people. That's not corny. That's a skill. Not everybody is good at maintaining and building relationships. So your brand is going to enable you to tell your story. You have to be able to share who you are so that other people will know how to engage with you and what your offerings are. And that means it's important to create a brand statement. So basically, your brand statement just shares what you're best at, who you serve, and again, what makes you unique. So you will share information about your skills and qualities and your characteristics. Your brand statement will include what you've accomplished. It will include maybe your most noteworthy personal trait, as well as what problem you can solve for that employer, client, or customer. That's what's going to be included in your brand statement. Now, you may have seen on LinkedIn that a lot more people are implementing a brand statement in their online profiles. It's usually in their headline, or you will find it very early in their summary. Because even if an employer or hiring manager is looking at your online profile, they're still only taking seconds to scan it, just as if it was a piece of paper in front of them. So if you want to put your brand statement inside of your online profile, you want to have it somewhere up at the top. So let's look at some information on brand statements. Here's some examples. Again, who are you? What are you good at? And how can you help? So this one says, a detailed-oriented development assistant with unshakable optimism. They have experience coordinating fundraising efforts and getting successful grant proposals. Another one says, delivering project management expertise along with an unsurpassed ability for analysis and application and design efficiencies. So you can see from these examples how you can express yourself. There we go. Another, a natural networker. I connect with leaders and peers to develop exceptional service. I do this through constant collaboration and different ideas and insights. So when I'm working with clients, I tell them, and we have this list of all these different adjectives. Pick out the words that describe you. And you might come up with this list of 100, maybe you come up with 30. Then you keep whittling it down until you get the key words that describe who you are and can also relay the value that you deliver. Through my natural enthusiasm and empathy and inspiration and easygoing style and instilling pride. I saw someone's brand statement the other day that said something like, you know, I shouldn't have said this because now I'm going to flub, but it said something like, I help people to make the most money they've ever made. Now that was a big one, but that would in an inspiring way. So I help people to make the most money they've ever made in the most inspiring way with little stress. I mean, they really went specific about it, but that would get someone's attention. Right away, you know what they do. And here's another, an elementary school teacher who uses field trips and a little magic to inspire students and instill a love of science in children. So a brand statement really connects you with and tells your story of who you are. So again, in telling your story, you want to talk about what you stand for, what you believe in. Why do you do the things you do? Because the statistics tell us that at least 50% of hiring managers and crew are looking at your online profile first. They are looking to learn about who you are and how you engage with others. So it's important that you tell your story. Why do you care about the things that you care about? What do you want to be known for? Right now in our workplaces, stress is high. It's very difficult. There's conflict. We may have needed this break. There's much information that shares that employee engagement is really low. So having people who are emotionally intelligent, who you can find that have values and integrity, because we can understand who they are outside of their resume paper, is important. And that's what you want to communicate. So let's take a look, because we're talking about telling our story. And this is your book. So I'm going to give an example here using myself. So a chapter in my book to help me build and share what my brand is that I love to invest in my growth and fulfillment while encouraging others. What is a chapter in your book? Take a minute to write down one thing that would be a chapter in your book. So here I am working with a nonprofit organization. We do a one-day fundraising campaign. We raised $515,000 in one day. This is what I'm sharing because I love to invest while encouraging others. Here's another with one of my chambers where I posted some information about a program. They reposted, sharing about me, helping individuals to see how I invest in others. Another, when I was in the pageant, here's one where I share a little fun because we need to encourage each other. Another, just 8 ways to have the best week. And then there's me sharing how I'm continuing to grow and learn. So that's my first chapter. What's your chapters? What message do you want to tell folks about who you are? Other things, I love God. Okay, you'll know that about me. Another chapter is I love Cardi B because it's about who you are as a whole person. If you don't know Cardi B, it's like, that's Cardi B. but I love her because she's a girl boss, right? She has millions and millions and millions of streams on all the social media platforms. She has a great following, but Cardi B shows herself who she is. So we see her glamorous and we see her as who she really is. So you'll learn that about me. So tell your story. And that was just 3 chapters of my book. And what's my story? I'm a coach, author, speaker, and business leader that empowers others to be their best selves. What's your brand statement? How do you deliver value? Who do you serve? Who are you? What are you good at? That's what you want to share. So in all, it's important that you believe in yourself. And that's why it's good to take that SWOT analysis, to do the work to find out what your strengths are. And when you do that, these are some of the results that you can see. Being authentic. This came right off of the Amazon site, but you can see, and I'm just going to skip down. It says, I can attest Adrean lives the teachings in her book. Because when you are authentic, when you are being yourself, then that is what people will see and what they will connect with. So now we have our brand statement. How do we now get the connections? Because that is how your message is going to be shared, but that's also who we're delivering to. So I say that it's important that we connect with individuals I've titled DICs. So the D are decision makers. These are contacts who can provide you with the direct leads, the direct work. They can bridge you to the contacts who can, because these are the individuals that we can get the yes from. They might be the hiring managers or the HR consultants, the purchasing agents. So we need to be able to share our brand message with those decision makers, not only to get opportunities, but they can help us expand our brand. I can't, hello?
Oh, hello. You were on mute a moment ago.
Oh, okay. Did you see the D?
Maybe from this slide.
Okay, thank you. So the D is for decision makers. Decision makers are the contacts who can provide you with the direct leads, the direct work, or bridge you to the contacts who can. They might be the hiring managers or the purchasing agents, or they might be the HR consultants. So those are the people who can give you most likely that, yes, they are the individuals who are able to provide you with that opportunity. The information sources are the I's. So these are the contacts who can provide valuable insight into companies and industries and trends. And they know the people that you need to know. They know the decision makers. So in my line of work, some information sources might be other coaches. I don't see them as competition. I see them as people who can be collaborators for the work that I do. And we partner with each other really well. Another type of information source is someone that's in finance, because they work with individuals who will tell all their money problems, so they'll probably tell all their business problems too. And I've had opportunities where someone in finance said, Adrian, I was working on this gentleman's taxes for his business. He mentioned he had a problem within his organization, and I gave him your name. So you want to understand who could be potential information sources for you. They don't always have to be in your same industry. When I am working with college students, I tell them, ask your friend's mother or father. They have jobs, they work places. So sometimes we have information sources that are really close to us that we can take advantage of. And then the C is for our cheerleaders. So our cheerleaders are contacts who can provide references and testimonials. They'll vouch for us. They will give you support and encouragement. But who should be your biggest cheerleader? It should be you. Because it's your job to do the work. It's your job to make the connections. It's your job to keep yourself lifted so that you are sharing your brand. So the other thing about having cheerleaders, again, they're going to be able to provide you with the testimonials and references and things that you need. But I also say that you should have what I call your personal board of directors, because you are your CEO. You're the chief encouragement officer. So what people do you have in your circle who can help you with different opportunities or different parts of your life even? So I have individuals who help me with strategy. I have individuals who help me with just encouragement. I have individuals who are connections with me who are provide, marketing support. So there are many different ways that cheerleaders can support us, but these are the top three, your DICs. Now, of those cheerleaders, it's important that we consider mentors and sponsors. And I have been fortunate to be able to build relationships with, even going through your career journey or this career transition. It's okay to have mentors along, even when you're working, and especially if you are in transition, because mentors are individuals who will help to connect you. They will provide advice, information with you. But there's a difference between a mentor and a sponsor. I say that mentors are individuals who will talk with you or to you, but a sponsor talks about you. And that is a big difference, because sponsors use what's called their social currency. And here's a book, Expect to Win by Carla Harris, that I read when I was maybe 10 years into my corporate career. And now Carla Harris has out this YouTube where she talks about sponsorship and influence or social currency. Because when someone sponsors you, they are helping to advance you, they're helping to get you promoted, they're making recommendations. In some cases, they're protecting you, and they're also making sure that you have the resources necessary for your success. So a sponsor talks about you. A sponsor is the person who's in the room when the decisions are being made. A sponsor is someone who has the ability to get you connected to those decision makers. And that is why they are important. So here's an example of, I went down to the Pennsylvania Convention for Women event that was held in October. And there were over 10,000 women there. And I went with my friend, you can see there, Molly. And as we were sitting down to have lunch, KYW News Radio came over and asked me if, Dave, I think you need to mute your line. KYW came over and asked me if I would do an interview. She couldn't even get all the words out before I was like, yes, I'll do an interview. And now there were 10,000 women there. And the question they asked me was, what's the #1 issue facing women in business today? Well, that's what I love to talk about. So I gave my answer and I posted this on LinkedIn. And then Dave Esposito, you can see there, responded, thanks for your thoughtful comments and thanks for your courage to lead the way. And then I responded to him, thanks, Dave. At one time, I had a great executive director who encouraged me to be bold. You see, Dave was a sponsor for me. When I was in corporate America, Dave and I both worked at the same company, and he was a sponsor. And now that I am a business owner, he's still acting in the sponsorship role. He's bought my books and given them to his leadership team. He's commenting on my posts, exposing me to his network. So we all have the ability to be sponsors in some way. That is providing an opportunity for other individuals. Now, how many people know Lynn Williams besides David? This is one way that you can be a sponsor. So Lynn posted on her LinkedIn, honored for the nomination as one of 36 women for the YW Tribute as the Executive Director of Philadelphia Area Great Career Group. Special thanks to Adrean for the nomination. So I'm sponsoring Lynn. And then I say, Lynn, I'm proud of you. You're amazing. And then she says, thank you. You're amazing. But how many of us have an opportunity where something like that comes across the desk to nominate someone, to recommend someone, and we maybe shoo it to the side? It's an opportunity for you to use your social currency, your influence currency, and support someone else, because that then becomes part of your brand reputation. So now I'm being recognized for someone who recognizes other women. Lynn is being recognized as someone who supports people, and that is her brand in terms of career. So this is how having connections can help you expand your brand. And I'm sorry, because I'm presenting this way, I can't see if you all are listing questions in the chat. It's not able to me. So do online relationships matter? Yes, they do. Some of my most successful connections were people who I first met online. So it's important to engage and build those relationships. And this is Kate Szymanski. Now, Kate works at Villanova University, and the way that I shared my value online, the way that I shared about who I am, and the way that I engaged with her helped Kate to understand what my brand was. So when Villanova had their very first women's event, I was the only non-Villanovian who was invited to participate in that group. Every time Kate put something up on the internet, I was like, comment, comment, like. So I stayed in her vision because every time I liked something, she got a notification. And we took some conversations from the post into Messenger. And then our relationship grew from there. So it does take time, but once you start living and defining your brand, you'll be able to build relationships as well. So how do you do that? How do you get started and getting those connections so that you can expand your brand? Well, you ask questions. What do you like most about your job? These are simple questions that help me to get started with demonstrating my brand and who I am and how I help and support people. When I'm at a networking meeting, instead of saying, it's sunny today, peel the layers of the onion back and chat with folks. What's one exciting thing that you're working on right now? Now, it sounds like, Adrian, how is that helping me build my brand if I'm asking other people questions? The answer to that is, as you are learning about other people, you will understand how you can help them and how to demonstrate your brand, your value to them. So that is why it's important. What challenges about your work are keeping you up at night? What types of opportunities are you looking for beyond what you're currently doing? Asking these questions gets you engagement, and engagement over time builds relationships, and relationships create opportunities. And the final question I always ask folks is, how can I help you? What is that saying about who you are as an individual? What is that saying about what your brand is? That's what people will remember. So when they see you, they'll go, oh, there's David, always trying to find out how he can help because he's so resourceful. He's a connector. He's someone that likes to help other people succeed. Do you get that? So demonstrating your brand, when you're thinking about connecting with individuals, it's all about figuring out what does that communicate or say about you when you're demonstrating your brand. Think about what chapter it fits in. That's why I tell people, write your chapter so that you can say, this is the message I want to share, and then figure out what things you need to do to make that chapter come alive. And remember, you're the author of your own book. How does that build influence? And how does it build engagement? Those are the things that you want to be thinking about in terms of demonstrating your brand. So what can you do? Give recommendations and endorsements. Do that without being prompted. At least once a week, I go on LinkedIn and click and do endorsements for individuals, or I will write a specific endorsement for someone. That comes back. And what does that say about you as a person? See, what does that say about you? Become a mentor. What chapter does that fit in for you? How can it help you build influence? Help a colleague or friend, ask more questions and listen. And lastly, you can volunteer at a nonprofit. So those are some actions that you can take to demonstrate your brand. And again, as you're doing this, you want to see where this fits to help you build the connections that you need to, again, expand your brand. But success only is going to happen if you stop thinking about things and start doing things. So we have our brand statement. We understand what our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities are. We've looked at what threats. We have ways that we're going to communicate online, the questions we're going to ask, how we're going to engage. But now it's time to build a plan around your brand. How are you going to execute your strategy? So this is a simple worksheet that I provide where you will note what your goal, the task associated, the success criteria, the time frame, and what resources you need as well. So this could be an example of your brand strategy. When I decided to move from entrepreneurship, well, I had to come up with a new strategy of the career fulfillment expert. How was I going to get people to know who I am? So one of the things I said is I need to gain influence in my community. And how am I going to do that? What task is associated with that? I'm going to join a nonprofit board. And what am I going to do to determine that success? I'm going to have 3 information sessions with executive directors. So this is a true story of what I did. I went on LinkedIn and I looked for different organizations that fit the message that I wanted to send. So I want to help people in their career. I said, let me make this specific. Let me make it women for this initiative. And I found an organization called the National Association of Professional Women. And I noticed that they had some vacancies because that was part of my criteria to join a board. So I looked for those that had vacancies. And there was a chapter in Collegeville, which is not far from my home. It's like 20 minutes away. They had a vacancy. So I started going to their meetings and being engaged. And I knew who the president and the members were because you could see that all on LinkedIn. And I just cozied up with the president. And after some meetings and some weeks of engagement, she said, I'd like to have a conversation with you. We have an opening on our board of directors. And I was like, I try to act a little surprised. But I became the vice president of that organization, which is now the International Association of Women, for 2 years. It helped me to gain influence in my community. It helped me to build my brand. It helped me to develop relationships. It enabled me to have new opportunities as a business owner and entrepreneur because I was purposeful. That's the key. You have to, I told a women's group this last week, you have to just do stuff. And that's what I did. Another thing that you might have on your list is to enhance your online presence. That's going to help you live and define your brand so that you have that executive presence. Be recognized as an expert. What can you do? Create a podcast. But we have some time, folks, I think some of us, right? So develop your strategy and start getting to work on what are the things you need to do. Now, I have this piece here that's the time frame. And that's important because someday is not a day of the week. We have to help ourselves to be successful by putting timelines in. So if you say you want to accomplish something, I tell individuals to put a specific date if you can. April 15th, May 31st, whatever it is, because then you work towards that goal. I found that when I don't put end dates or timelines, I'm like, I'll get to it, I'll get to it, I'll get to it. So to discipline myself for my success, I ensure that I am specific about what I want to achieve and when I want to achieve it. And this takes a lot of headache out. So you have to do the work ahead of time, but then you get up in the morning, you go, oh, today, in order to meet this goal, this is what I need to do. You're not having it just rummaging in your head. So remember that success takes time. You've got to build your brand, takes time. Just like building relationships take time. But when you are consistent, when you are putting out the same message, when you are demonstrating value, eventually you will gain the success you need. So personal branding can make you a happier person. Find out what your strengths are. Set your goals. That's that uniqueness. That's how you're going to have that passion behind your brand. Build your skills if necessary. Share and teach others. Ask questions. Gain that credibility, and then you'll be sought out by people who need your skills. And that helps us to be happier and more fulfilled. Now, I know that we are in times right now where it's challenging, maybe for some to be happy or fulfilled. But what I want to express there is when you know what your brand is, when you know who you are, you have a confidence with you. So when people say things that are not who you are, you can say, no, my brand is, this is who I am. And when you are more confident, you're more willing to take risk. And when you're more willing to take risks, you open yourself up to many more opportunities. So I encourage you to understand who you are and just share that message to the world and be authentic about it, because anything is possible. How do I know? I went from 0 connections to over 10,000 connections in the last 5 years, building my business, earning 3 awards from Chambers of Commerce, because I was specific, I was purposeful, I understood who I was, I knew what message I wanted to send out, and there's nothing different about me than you. I just took the time to make a plan and execute for my success. So it is possible for you to brand yourself well and achieve the things that you desire. So I want to thank you for your participation. I'm going to now try to switch this over and give control back to Dave. Okay. All right, Dave, what do I need to do to give control back to you? Unmute yourself. Okay. Okay, let me find your name or something. Oh, this is fun. We did good all the way up to here. Okay, I'm going to click on your name. And then I'm going to say make host. I did it. Try it again. Now it's not giving me that thing to make you the host anymore. Are you Douglas? Oh, I made somebody else the host. First of all, oh, this is not good. Because I can't hear you either. Let me find who you are on this list. Okay. I'm going to unmute. It was not. Can you unmute yourself? Right. Doug, make me host. Right. I am trying. Chat. Okay. Let me make this a different view or something. Oh, Doug, it says that you are the host because you're the only person on my screen. I can hear you now.
Dave, how do I make her the host?
Oh, Dave, okay, wait a minute. I gave it to you. So Dave, what you have to do is click on David's name.
Okay.
And that 3 dots in the corner.
Right.
And then it says make a host.
Gotcha.
Sorry, Doug.
No problem. Very nice. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed your presentation.
Thank you. All right, Dave, you got it, I think.
I do. Yeah, thank you very much. So first of all, Adrian, thank you. This has just been wonderful. I've got a couple of comments and questions, but I was just curious. It's a great teamwork from someone. Anyone, if you have questions, Adrian's microphone is still on. And if you want to chat, use the chat option to ask a question or two. Please do so. Adrian will still be able to answer your question. So just wait a minute or two before we move on and close out the meeting.
And thank you so much, everyone, for your comments. I'm reading to see if there's any questions. What was the name of the author of the book? Okay, somebody put that in already. That was Carla Harris, Expect to Win. Okay, oh, and don't forget, should we raffle off a book? I don't know how we can do it, but I'd be glad to mail a copy of my book to someone for participating today.
I'd love to be able to do it.
You know what? I'm going to put in my email here, and then everybody send, if you want to be a part of the raffle, email me, and then I'm going to virtually select someone and mail it out to you. So my book has a whole chapter on building relationships, managing stress, all that good stuff, but I'll turn it back.
Oh, terrific. That's really nice. So a little later, folks, email Adrian, and then she will put all of our email addresses in a hat or a basket, and she'll pick one of us. And also, Adrian, if you let me know, I'll also send the congratulations out in LinkedIn.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll have my granddaughter select it out, because, you know, I don't know, I'm grandparenting because my daughter is a nurse and she's still working. So I have my 7-year-old granddaughter here, and I have threatened my husband to keep her out of this office.
Oh, okay. And I'm sure she wants to play with you.
Yes, I've been playing Barbies for 2 days.
Right. So after 2 months of playing Barbies, you're going to pull your hair out, I think. As long as you're having fun with your granddaughter. So let's see. Your email did not go out to all of us. You may have.
Oh, okay. Let me make it to everybody. Thank you, everyone. Here we go.
There it is. info@coachadrian.com.
Yeah, and I'll put my website too. In addition to the events that you're having virtually, I'm doing an online emotional intelligence training next week, and some others if people want to go to my website and sign up.
And also, the slide deck is online right now. It has our contact information as well. So if for some reason, if you copy it wrong or paste it wrong, no worries, you'll be able to get it right from the website. I know Adrian shortly will be sending me some additional handouts. And so I will post those as well with the PowerPoint. It's a PDF of the PowerPoint. Before this is over, we will stop the recording, and hopefully I'll figure out how to upload that, and that can be available to us as well. So a couple of things I heard. One was you have the slide about ask the questions, and another takeaway or thought that I had, we can also use that as a self-assessment, because sometimes we're even trying to figure out not just our brand, but what it is we want to do. Here we are now in an unemployment or a transition, whatever we want to call it, and we look back and said, I really didn't like the old job, or now that I'm a little older, I want to do something different. So I think a lot of those same questions, Adrian, can be used as a self-assessment.
Yes, I agree with that. And I want to share this. I've read an article, and I want to say it was INC magazine, and it was a gentleman who was a car salesman, and he got laid off. It was like he was just blindsided. So it's also a testament about emotional intelligence and staying spirited in this time. And so what happened was he decided to, because he had left the car dealership business though, but he still had people contacting him like, Dave, I need a car, I need a car. And he said he decided to do something about it instead of mope about the change in his career. So short story is he built an entire business on working with car dealerships to streamline the whole process of buying your car. So basically you call him and you say what kind of car you want, and he works with the banks and the car dealerships. There's no fee to you. He gets a kickback from the car dealerships, and he's created, you don't have to sit in a car dealership for 8 hours. He created a whole business because instead of, and people are still coming to him because of his brand, right? Who he was trusted. Yep, so I hope that was a little helpful.
Yeah, makes the process easy. A lot of us don't like car shopping, haggle with anybody over anything, so I don't mind it, but a lot of people find it a frustrating process.
Yeah,
so,
people need to just look for what you do good and create an opportunity from that.
And then the other point, you had some great ideas for demonstrating your brand. And another one is, and you seem to be a near master at this, participate online. Because when we're online, you may want to write a post or add a comment. When you start writing, people view you as a subject matter expert. Exactly. And so, and it's a way of getting your message out to other places and to people to be able to find it. So you can promote your brand, whether it's in LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, any of the websites and social media sites that you're comfortable with.
And you don't always have to create the content. Just share valuable content. There's people that I follow just because they always are posting great articles and information.
Absolutely, that's absolutely true. So you can find something nice on a site and forward it or post it or retweet it or whatever the process on that particular site, and people will see that you share. And actually, maybe a one place to start for all of us, anybody who's interested, our PSG group, we have a LinkedIn group. If you found some interest and value out of this, share your thoughts in our LinkedIn group, so the members that couldn't participate will get a little bit of an incentive maybe to come join the meeting next week. So that would be another place you could do that. Let us know. And you're certainly welcome to email us at psgofmercercounty@gmail.com, or me personally, if you have any observations you don't want to make public. This is a new process for us, and I think it's been successful. We do have a large turnout today. And as long as the Princeton Public Library just won't be available for meetings, we're going to look to keep this going for the next several weeks and during our regular meeting time.
Well, this has been a great experience. Thank you so much, Dave, for this opportunity. It was fun working with you, prepping and all, and I just really appreciate it.
And we do as well. It's always special to have you back. I'm glad that you do come back to visit us. And also, oh, I want to say, I saw earlier, Sheldon, so congratulations, you landed. So I think someone said we're going to have virtual donuts. I've got apple pie downstairs, so I guess I'll have that for my lunch dessert instead of my dinner dessert. And think of you. So lots of good luck as you are back in the workforce. Keep up. Someone said I keep up the Breakfast Club website, or let's see. I'm not that active. Let's see if I can find that again.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh, does the Breakfast Club have a LinkedIn page? Yes, they do. Breakfast Club does have a LinkedIn page. So you'll have to find that in LinkedIn. They do also have a website called thebreakfastclubnj.com. I'm pretty sure it's .com, thebreakfastclubnj.com. While I'm active with the Breakfast Club, I don't keep those directly up. So if you have any questions, you can forward to me and I can try and find that for you.
That is good. Well, I'm glad to see all of these great comments, Dave.
Yeah, thank you to everybody. You know, we appreciate you, of course, making the time to participate. And we will continue to support all of us in job search for as long as we can. So I'll let you know what's coming up next week. Bring up my message if I have it. There it is. So next week, it's March 27th. Bill Pagula is going to be presenting to us. So I'm really glad Bill is able to do so. We had to reschedule the prior March 27th. Developing your marketing plan. We actually, okay, so Adrian will be there, that's good. So we actually did offer that. Bill gave that presentation to us on a Monday a couple of weeks ago and had a nice turnout, not nearly the size we typically get on a Friday. And it was such a good presentation. I asked Bill if he was available, and he is, and I'm glad. So that will be next week. Bill Pagula from our executive committee will present Developing Your Marketing Plan. And then on April 3rd, Gary Landy is going to be giving a presentation called Letters. And it's going to be talking about all the best practices for your thank you letter, your cover letter, and more for communicating to you know, the people that are throughout the job search process. Gary is a career coach, and he does specialize in LinkedIn profile and resume. So this is not a natural extension of that, certainly. So anyway, so that is our meeting for today. Don't have a whole lot more information to share with you at this point. Once again, thank you to Adrian. So virtual applause. Thank you very much. Appreciate, oh, there she is. She's back. Appreciate everyone participating. Nice comments. Thank you. And we'll look forward to seeing you virtually next week. So have a good week, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Dave.
Bye.